In this episode, we will be discussing about peer-to-peer lending, P2P lending. We will not be discussing the application to be a P2P operator. Instead, we will be discussing P2P on points particularly important to those who seek to raise funds via P2P lending. We will be discussing 6 points. First, what is P2P financing? Who are the registered market operators for P2P financing in Malaysia? Who can invest and the investment limits? How to raise funds on P2P platforms? Is there a cap on the fundraise? Can the issuer keep the funds raised if it is less than or exceeds the target amount? In the previous episode, we discussed about the rather traditional types of fundraising and also the recent popular ones such as equity crowdfunding, which we call ECF. If you are a company seeking to raise funds to fund your operation needs and of course to expand your business, please stay tuned to this series discussing specifically on fundraising that may be applicable to your needs. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley. I'm a lawyer practicing in Malaysia. Well, let's start. Firstly, what is P2P financing? P2P financing is actually a form of crowdfunding used to raise funds or loans for people who need to borrow from those who want to invest. This will be very useful to companies because there will be no financial institution acting as an intermediary. The company will not need to go through strict requirements of the financial institution, and also it extends the credit to borrowers who are not able to get funding through traditional financial institutions. P2P financing allows micro, small, medium enterprises to raise funds through the issuance of an investment note to the investors at a predetermined rate of financing. The rate of financing may be repaid in the form of monthly, quarterly or bullet repayments that may include portion of the principal sum and also the interest. The repayment structure and interest may vary depending on the credit assessment of the issuer. The Securities Commission Malaysia, which is the SE, regulates P2P financing activities in Malaysia by registering the P2P financing platforms operators as the RMO, which is the registered market operators. So next, who are the registered market operators for P2P financing in Malaysia? The registered market operators for P2P financing in Malaysia are as follows. I'll insert the link to the SC website and also the list of RMO in the description box below, so please feel free to check it out. So next, who can invest and also the investment limits? P2P investment opportunities are actually open to all investors. They are divided into retail investors, angel investors and also sophisticated investors. Although P2P investment opportunities are open to all investors, there are actually investment limits that are applicable to each and every category of the investors. The definition of these investors will be stated in the definition box below, so feel free to check it out. As for investment limits, there's actually no investment limits for sophisticated and angel investors. As for retail investors, the investors are highly encouraged to limit their investment to a maximum of 50k ringgit at any period of time. Next, how do we raise funds on P2P financing platforms? When an issuer applies for funding, the P2P operator will actually evaluate the issuer's eligibility, including assessing its capacity to repay through credit history checks and also analysis of any alternative data. These factors allow the P2P operator to assess and also assign a risk score to the assessment note issued by such issuer. Such issuance will then be hosted on the P2P financing platform where the investor will then select and also invest accordingly. Next, is there a cap on the fundraise? There's actually no cap imposed by the SC. However, the amount of financing and also the rate of financing will actually depend on the outcome of the issuer's risk assessment and also scoring conducted by the P2P operator. Next, can the issuer keep the funds raised if it is less than or exceeds the target amount? An issuer is allowed to keep the fund raised on the P2P financing platform, provided that the financing campaign has reached a minimum of 80% of the target amount. The financing campaign is considered unsuccessful when it fails to reach a minimum 80% threshold. The P2P operator shall return the money to the investors if the campaign is unsuccessful. Let me give you an example. If the issuer wants to raise 100k on the P2P platform but receives an offer amounting to 80k, the issuer is allowed to retain 80k because it meets the 80% minimum threshold. However, if the offers received is 70k, then all the monies received will need to be returned to the investors and the issuer will not get any funding. What about any amount that exceeds the target amount? The issuer is not allowed to keep any amount which exceeds the target amount. For example, if the issuer wants to raise 100k but it receives offer totaling 110k, it can only retain up to 100k. Hope this video is helpful to you. It's important to get your legal advice from your lawyer specialized in this area to ensure a smooth sailing process of fundraising. In the next episode, we will be discussing fundraising by way of initial exchange offering. You may also check out our series of fundraising here. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye.